Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show on Tuesday, June 3rd. I am Patrick Daugherty, joined as always by Mr. Denny Carter. Where a lot of news, actually. Teams are practicing right now, the kind of last hurrah before training camp begins last month, the 1 month a year. Anyone associated with the NFL actually gets off.
Oh, yeah.
Seems a bit inefficient to me, Denny, where the season's 6 months long. I feel like there should be an off-season longer than 1 month.
You would think that would just happen by accident, but it doesn't.
You would think that would happen by accident, but it is not. And so with teams practicing right now, we got news on it. Like Cliff Kingsbury, I don't know if you've heard this one, Denny. He says Jayden Daniels is good.
He says he's good.
He says he's good. Now it's a little deeper than that. We're going to talk about Jayden Daniels' odds of being the QB1, or his case for being the QB1 in summer drafts. I'm sure some people will treat him that way. Then we're getting kind of a sneak peek at the Jets offense, which to no one's surprise is reportedly going to look a lot like the Lions offense. That's at least according to ESPN's Rich Cimini. And then Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer reports Braelon Allen's role could be whatever. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Braelon Allen,
get to that.
And then speaking of the Lions, Frank Ragnow retired. He's a center. We've never mentioned a center's name on the show. I don't even know. This guy's like a longtime All-Pro. I have no idea. That's how you say his name.
Yeah, apparently, they have a position called center in the NFL.
There's a position called center, and it's just another loss for the Lions. This is one a big loss. He's the pivot of an elite run blocking line. He's an elite run blocker himself. He joins Ben Johnson on his way out the door. Like, is it time to panic about the Lions offense? And then CMC, Shanahan, put on my glasses here. Says team must protect him from himself. All right, Jonnu not being traded.
Yeah,
Isaiah Likely All-Pro season, maybe. Head coach John Harbaugh. Mahomes saying Travis Kelce still good. Oh, that's good.
Sure.
Chip Kelly moving the Raiders receivers around. Maybe some more things. We have time for that, but real quick, Denny. June 3rd. Summer. Let's see. Summer. First off, stop with the summer begins on June 20th. Like meteorological summer begins on June 1st. I don't understand why we don't just align summer with the weather instead of the stars. What the stars have nothing to do with it.
Right.
A lot of famous summer activities. Denny, though. One of them is the road trip. Or the long drive.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, I made the 5-hour drive to and from Chicago with my family of 6. I have 4 children, a lot of people in one van.
Yeah.
Guys, do you have abhorrent opinions on the road trip? Do you think the road trip is actually the best thing in the world? The only way to connect to America, pounding the pavement? What is your opinion on the road trip?
The only way. I don't think it's the only way, but it is a way. And most summers we drive down to the southern tip of North Carolina. Okay. And it takes about, it takes about 10 hours, 11 hours with stops, right? We get in the old Subaru and we chug along. Now the one thing I like about that is that as long as I'm driving, I control the music.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And
the idea that I would ever be in the passenger seat for even 1 second of the road trip, that's funny that you suggested that. Anyone else in my family is not.
Okay. Well, I do relent when the old eyes won't stay open anymore. And it's time to take a little nap.
Talk about, I thought you were strong. Talking about weak.
I'm sorry. I can't keep them
I've
open.
never once yawned while operating a motor vehicle.
Well, no amount of coffee. Also, can we just say, drinking coffee during a road trip is horrible. It's a terrible idea.
It's not a great idea.
I mean, you have to stop and pee every 5 minutes. The tractor trailer you passed 20 minutes ago zips past you.
That's always a little embarrassing when you repass the truck later. Like he's kind of over there just laughing, having a big chuckle. Like, well, not so fast anymore, are you?
Right.
Pass me again.
Right. You had to have that small coffee from 7-Eleven, didn't you? But yeah, so as long as I get to control the music, it's good. My wife gets to control the music, my kids, things go a little haywire. I have no more input. I feel a little out of control. So I do like that control, and I do torment them with the worst music possible, aka Kraftwerk.
Yeah. Oh, not even a joke. We listened to some Kraftwerk.
No, you didn't.
Yes, my kids though love Trans Europe Express. They love like the and the clanging sound.
Really?
They like the sounds.
So I'll quote my son from last year when I was talking to him about Kraftwerk, and he said, "Dad, I'm never gonna like Kraftwerk. Get over it."
Wow, yeah. My kids are about to get there, but yeah, that is the bond, the covenant in our family. Like, Dad, to stay sane, will listen to music. Basically, everyone else can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, sure.
Like, even if you guys are gonna hit each other, just don't do it a lot.
Right.
Like, just don't do it a lot. Just do it a little bit.
Just let me listen to Neil Young.
Yeah, it's not. There was no Neil on the playlist. It actually was stunning. Might be the first playlist I've ever assembled with no Neil. My kids, thankfully, because they've been forced to, they like some of the classic rock.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Same. My kids, they have no choice. They have to like it.
No choice. New music does not exist.
Nope.
New talking points don't exist, except for they do. Denny. For years, it's been Lamar or Josh Allen, QB1, set and forget, profit. Don't even worry about it again. Patrick Mahomes, not even good. It's those two guys at the top. Only two people you even consider as the QB1 in fantasy football. Jayden Daniels threw a wrench in that last year. Although he ran sort of hot in some areas where he still needs to improve. But Cliff Kingsbury, he's been steaming Jayden Daniels, which, what a surprise. Like Cliff, also too, like, fair. Yeah, Jayden Daniels is amazing. Jayden Daniels is reportedly like bulked up this summer. We don't really actually love that. But does Jayden Daniels have an argument to be the QB1 overall? Is he entering the Lamar, Josh Allen zone, or is it just a little too hasty after only one season to say that for the Commanders QB?
I mean, yes, I think that he clearly can get there because of the rushing. But the nice thing about Jayden Daniels is that you don't have to draft him as high as Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. So if you feel like fading Allen and Jackson, you can just simply go with Jayden Daniels.
Do you think that's actually going to be the case, though? Like especially once the quote casuals log on in August, like Jayden Daniels is the kind of player people are going to want.
Right.
Like, do we really think there's actually going to be much of a gulf between him and Lamar and Josh Allen?
I'm going to get really specific here for our folks here who listen to the show who love their Commanders. If you're in a league with a bunch of Commanders fans, you better be prepared to take Jayden Daniels, not in the first round, but number 1 overall. Okay, that's a real thing. I was in a league back during the RG3 heyday where RG3 went number 1 overall as a rookie. Okay, so we're very hungry in the Washington area, very hungry for our quarterback.
That's a real thing in any league too. That's a classic, like, know your league. Like even
know.
In St. Louis, unfortunately, the Chiefs have like totally colonized St. Louis. So here it's like, if you want Mahomes, you're at least a round or two earlier than ADP if you're going to have any shot at getting Mahomes.
Yeah, forget about that, obviously. But I think he could get steamed up. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury is not doing us any favors right now. Every other day he's out there being like, yeah, I've never seen anything like this kid, and he's so much better. He's stronger. His arm's more accurate. His arm's stronger. Also, did you know this? I was reading today in some publication, I think ESPN, that Jayden Daniels gets to work at 5:45 a.m. every single day, man, before anybody. He's not actually the first one in. You said same.
I said not same. I said not same.
Not same. Not same. But
stop. You're pretending you're not up at 5:45.
I am. If I am, then I'm so cranky by noon. You don't even want to be around me. Okay?
That's true.
But I could use a nap. Let's put it that way. I could use a nap right now. But Jayden Daniels definitely, could be in that conversation. I think you need to know your league, and you need to, I don't know, I guess go in on him if you really want him.
Is the main argument for Jayden Daniels maybe being a viable pick as the QB1? 6 rushing touchdowns, honestly, to me, felt like unsustainably low last year. Mm-hmm. And you got the Commanders coaching staff every day being like, well, we don't really like any of these running backs. And his ADP is not much lower. This is the underdog sickos, of course, but only 8 total spots behind Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. So they are pretty bunched together. He's actually separated from Jalen Hurts, Jayden Daniels, which I don't really know if that's smart. But I just feel like he's such an exciting guy. He's going to be the kind of people, especially after sensational rookie years. The view is always there's nowhere to go but up. Mm-hmm. I really think that ADP, he might end up challenging for QB1 overall. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think that is going to happen, though.
Jayden Daniels had 10 rushing attempts inside the 10-yard line last year. He converted 4 of those into touchdowns. Josh Allen also had 10. He converted 7 of those into touchdowns. No quarterback had more rushing attempts inside the 10, unless I'm reading this incorrectly. So
you don't think Jalen Hurts? There's no way that he didn't.
Let me check on that. You're right. Hurts had 18 and converted 11 for touchdowns.
That's it.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I thought the tush push was invincible, folks. Yeah. Apparently not. So he didn't. I don't think he ran cold, but he could run hotter. Also, his passing touchdown rate was not off the charts either.
No, it was not. It just seems like there is meat left on the bone there for Jayden Daniels. I just will say, we just saw with C.J. Stroud last year. C.J. Stroud's rookie year was not quite as sensational as Jayden Daniels, but the sophomore slump is going to be strong. But we always just have this idea that it's completely linear improvement, and it very rarely works that way.
Yeah,
unless you are a transcendent special player, and Jayden Daniels kind of appeared to be that as a rookie.
I would like to amend what I said a minute ago.
Yeah, it didn't sound even remotely right.
So I was looking at inside the 5 rushing attempts.
Yeah, it didn't sound even remotely correct.
Jayden Daniels had 16 inside the 10. Okay, he scored 5 touchdowns on those, and Jalen Hurts had 29 attempts inside the 10, and he scored 13 touchdowns.
Just 6 felt low for Jayden Daniels. Touchdowns, total rushing touchdowns, that is, and couple that with talk that he's getting stronger, and just he's savvier. He knows what to expect now. I could see relying on, especially since they do not like the running backs, relying on him more as a goal line rusher. I think they were probably loath to do that last year because spindly guy.
He's
a rookie also. It was a big classic way to get a rookie dual threat quarterback hurt. Or I think they might have more faith in him.
Right.
The goal line this year.
That makes sense. Anecdotally, I remember tilting my face off when Brian Robinson would seemingly get every touch inside the 10-yard line when I had Jayden Daniels on every redraft team. So it's not like, they didn't overuse Daniels, like you said, Pat, inside in that really valuable zone. Brian Robinson saw a lot of run there too.
I guess if Brian Robinson sticks around, I mean, there's a chance Brian Robinson's not even on this roster. I feel like if he sticks around, I guess there is a chance for the literal only thing he does is cash in these touchdowns to take hits off of Jayden Daniels. We want the touchdowns so bad that the Commanders don't care. They care about Jayden getting them there. Yeah. They don't necessarily care about Jayden finishing it if someone else can do it. And if they still trust Brian Robinson to do it, then I guess that will be the point against Jayden Daniels getting his rushing touchdown total. But as you said, the passing touchdown total could increase too. They've added Deebo Samuel, even though Deebo might be washed.
He might be, but if
I could see some drafts where I would almost be like, screw it, I'm taking Jayden as the QB1. Although I never do that. I mean, I never take the first QB. But
no. I mean, we all in the industry, we all play chicken with each other to see who's going to fold first. But I don't think you need to take them first, which is nice.
You do not, yeah. So Jayden Daniels, we'll probably talk about more. It's nice to actually talk about good players for a change.
Yeah,
Denny, tell me about the Chargers RB3.
I know, right. Tell us about this undrafted free agent tight end.
Yeah, how about we talk about Jayden Daniels instead? How about we talk about the Jets offense instead? Something we have already talked about a lot. Something we're going to be talking about even more as summer goes along, particularly the Jets backfield, Denny, where I would say something of a negative drumbeat is developing for Breece Hall. We talk about the drumbeat. That's a phrase we've used in the past years in the industry. I think Patrick Crane talks about that a lot too. You pay attention to when there's a positive drumbeat on a player, and it could be fluff, but I always tell people it's better if there's a positive fluffy drumbeat than no drumbeat, or even worse, a negative drumbeat.
Right.
When Breece Hall, it's not quite negative. It's not like they're criticizing Breece Hall, but they're saying good things about other players. They're not really saying anything about Breece. They keep talking up a 3-man backfield. ESPN's Rich Cimini's talking up a 2-man backfield, saying it's going to look a lot like the Lions offense. All these former Lions assistants with gangrene. Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer reports Braelon Allen's role in the Jets offense could be, quote, pretty significant. Would a Lions, though? So, okay, a lot of negativity around Breece. But if we really got a true Lions-like approach in the backfield, a hard 1A, a hard 1B, could that actually deceptively be better for Breece than even Braelon? Because whatever, Braelon will have a role. Maybe Breece could have more of a floor. What would a Lions offense look like for these running backs? Who has more to gain? Who has more to lose? That's
an interesting spin on it, and I could kind of see that developing. But you hate to say, take away playing time and touches from this running back, and things could get better. It happens.
Not even take away, but just maybe his ultimate ceiling is not as high, but the floor is a lot higher. Because the floor, that's been kind of the main problem for Breece Hall in fantasy is the floor just drops out.
It does,
some weeks. Whereas that pretty much never happens with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Right. I don't love the formula of a Gibbs Montgomery type of backfield because You don't have Jared Goff back there dumping it off, right? You have Justin Fields, and Justin Fields doesn't do that. You know, like we've documented many times over the past couple of years, like he is among the quarterbacks. Fields is among the handful of quarterbacks who simply does not check down ever.
No.
And rightfully so. I mean, he's an explosive runner. You know, he's especially like after contact, he's great. So there's no reason for him to do that. I guess there'll be some design stuff for Breece Hall, who's a pretty good pass catcher. But if Braelon Allen is seen as like a 1A or 1B, or I guess 1B, it's not good. Like Breece Hall, like he needs to be going later if that's the case. He's going too early right now.
I mean, do we even think there's a 1C? Because typically I wouldn't believe in a 3-man backfield. This Jets offense, I get the feelings this would be kind of prehistoric because I mean, everyone knows the deal with Justin Fields at this point. Like, I'm sure the Jets coaching staff's under no illusions where they have positive Justin Field traits they want to accentuate, but I don't think they're going to pretend he's something that he's not at this point. And it just seems like a really, really heavy fire and brimstone offense.
Yeah.
Is 1C even a possibility? By the way, Breece currently the RB13. Is
RB13.
1C even a dreaded possibility here for the Jets?
Oh, man. With Isaiah Davis, I guess it is. I mean, Aaron Glenn said in March, he said, we have 3 running backs we're going to be using. You know, that said in March, that might be forgotten by August. Who knows?
I mean, he not even kidding. He might have no memory of saying that.
True.
Like,
True.
It's funny, coach. We might have more memory of a lot of these coach quotes than they do.
Right.
We do. Like,
all right. Here's what I'll say.
Combine. You think I remember the combine?
Yeah, right. Here's what I'll say about Breece Hall going at RB13. Joe Mixon is going at RB16. I'd much rather have Mixon. You know, he's just locked in. RJ Harvey's going at RB17. That's crazy. Like, I'm taking him 100 times out of 100.
Guy who's never played in the NFL. Broncos backfield. It's never been effective under Sean Payton.
Chuba Hubbard, RB18, easily over Breece Hall.
Okay, you really lost me on that one. Chuba? You kidding me?
Are you
Chuba?
So you're saying Breece Hall shouldn't be going as RB13, but no one below him should be going.
Yeah,
so, okay.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's pretty simple. I mean, I followed the logic pretty easily.
Yeah. All right. What about Ken Walker at RB19?
I mean, easily over Breece.
Okay.
Like easily. I mean, even Kamara probably still over Breece. James Conner probably still over Breece.
Yeah.
Here, David Montgomery's RB23. Would you rather have RB13 Breece Hall or RB23?
I would take Montgomery straight up over Breece.
I would too, just to be honest.
I mean, Aaron Jones, RB28.
No, then you lost me on that one. So,
all right, you're gonna have to eventually say somebody's better than Breece Hall.
Aaron Jones is like the worst version of Breece, even though he's far more efficient.
I know. What are you talking about?
He's worse in fantasy. He doesn't score touchdowns. I guess Breece didn't really score touchdowns.
I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like Breece is at his ADP is a fade. Now, if he
don't get me wrong, this is actually not a joke. I'll probably have Breece Hall in 0 teams. Like he's burned me too many times. There's too many red flags. But I don't think he'll fall off the face of it. He's going to be someone 10 times out of 10 in my redraft leagues let other people draft. I will admit that. I will fully admit that. But that, like the ADP, I don't think should fall too much.
Yeah. Well, first of all, shout out Aaron Rodgers for ruining Breece Hall.
Yep.
That's
good.
Good.
Cool.
And for possibly ruining Garrett Wilson. We'll see how that goes.
That was cool.
You know, but Braelon Allen was really bad. I have a stat. Can I share a stat?
He was a rookie. I mean, rookie running backs occasionally.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Braelon Allen was used primarily as a short yardage hammer, right? So you're typically not going to like break off a lot of runs in those circumstances because the defense has like 9 guys at the line waiting for it. I get that, but I have this and I just have to share it. You know why? Because it's early June and this is what we do in early June. Braelon Allen last year ranked 56th out of 57 qualifying running backs in Pro Football Focus's breakaway rate. He beat out, I'm putting on my glasses here. He beat out Zeke Elliott, and that was it.
Wow.
In breakaway
Yeah,
rate.
that's not just a rookie thing. That's concerning. And it's not just an environment thing. That seems to be a lack of explosion thing.
Yeah, he inefficient 50th in EPA per rush. Like right there with like Josh Jacobs and Rico Dowdle. So I guess he's like replacement level thereabouts.
That makes sense. The Jets backfield, we need a lot to have. And it's possible all these comments, or maybe it's at the end of the day directed at Breece. Like, man, we just hope Breece we like really need Breece to be better. Because like they really have that high expectations for Braelon Allen.
He was good, as a rookie. Breece Hall was good.
Yeah, that was as a rookie in 2018. Breece Hall was good. So we just talked about the Lions tangentially. Now we're talking about them for real.
Yes.
Arguably the best center in the entire league, just retired, Frank Ragnow. Ben Johnson is gone. The Lions every year, we've been joking about Denny, like the Lions. This is the year of the Lions.
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. 15-2 is probably not going to be matched. We do know that. That level of offensive efficiency probably can't be matched again. I've said plenty of times in the past, Ben Johnson might be getting too much credit for Dan Campbell and his magic. But at the very least, things are going to change a little bit. Is Frank Ragnow even a more concerning loss than Ben Johnson? And basically, what's the concern meter with the Lions offense that been getting more efficient every year? Certainly probably felt like it peaked last year.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a concern level, or is it kind of trivial? Like, yeah, they won't be quite as efficient, but they're still going to be more than efficient.
They're going to try to keep the band together. For all intents and purposes, they have said we will just keep trying to do the Ben Johnson thing. Whether
Which
they
is
can,
smart,
yeah, because it has been really good for Jared Goff. I have some stats, some numbers on Ragnow real quick, just to give folks an idea of who he was, because like we said, we're just learning about Frank Ragnow. No, I'm kidding.
So who he was, you're also making it sound like he's departed.
No, he's
retired.
He's still on the mortal coil.
Yeah, he's retired,
folks. So among centers, Frank Ragnow last year was 24th among 44 qualifying players in pass blocking. Okay, per PFF. So not the greatest pass blocker.
That was 1 year, and he the reason he's retiring is had so many injuries. He might not have been at his peak last year.
No, he was still elite top 3 as far as PFF grade goes in run blocking. That's
which is his reputation, mauling run blocker.
Right. So I think the run game could suffer, but it's all connected. Like, let's not pretend like a struggling run game for Detroit, it won't affect Jared Goff. Like that very much does affect him. We saw last year how, an exposed Goff looks. He was exposed because the perfect environment that they had created for him started to fall apart, and through no fault of their own, just injuries, just really horrible luck injuries in the final 6 weeks, 8 weeks of the season. And so you had by the playoffs, you had them being crushed by the Commanders because they had no defense, they had no pass rush, and their offensive line was a little banged up. So he's like Tua in that way, right? He can thrive. Goff can thrive.
Listen, I'm a lifelong Goff hater. Don't compare him to Tua.
No, you think Tua's worse?
Oh God,
really?
Not even close.
Okay. Well,
I have a little respect for Jared Goff.
I'm a deep skeptic of both.
I am too, but have a little respect for Jared Goff.
All right. You're right. You're probably right. He's probably better than Tua. But so if they can't recreate that perfect environment, it could be tough for Goff.
Could be, yeah. If things aren't perfect, it might be bad.
I mean, if a team can do that, good for them. That's awesome. Like, that's amazing that they could have done this, but it's not easy to maintain.
I will feel like I'll probably tie breaking against Lions this year. I don't even know about the project has peaked. I think this time it really counts. The project has peaked. We'll see what. I mean, David Montgomery, he's getting up in years for a running back, starting to get a bit of an injury history. He's very tough, so he's played through them kind of. Even last year, he came back like way too quickly. Or he might be post peak also. Just the Lions, a lot going on.
Yeah. So let's just ask this question: who benefits from a non-perfect Lions offensive environment? Right. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It's only Amon-Ra.
It's also Jamison Williams.
Probably James. I mean, even Laporta, maybe.
Laporta.
Yeah.
But I mean, it makes St. Brown honestly like a candidate for 200 targets. I mean,
it makes him like a 125 catch guy.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind when you say I'm going to fade Lions or whatever. Really I think you're right. To an extent, I think that the one guy you probably make an exception for is St. Brown.
And also, I think what we're saying, we're more broadly concerned for the running game. Where the Lions being bad, could actually be good. Because we're not really drafting Jared Goff to begin with. So we don't care about if it's bad for him, that it could be good for his weapons from a cheap targets perspective. Yeah. We talked about a good player earlier, Jayden Daniels, new thing for trying out on the
we're trying.
Christian McCaffrey. Not so much. Well, we talk about Christian McCaffrey a lot, but it's because he's hurt. He's currently not hurt right now, which Kyle Shanahan is very excited about. He says he is as healthy as can be. Then added, the team must, quote, protect him from himself, which since Christian McCaffrey has been in San Francisco, I don't think I've ever once heard Kyle Shanahan make like any allusions whatsoever to like monitoring CMC's workload. It's like, oh, CMC, he can handle what he can handle.
Right.
Like he's never once even like alluded to that. This is only an illusion. He's not saying we're going to give Christian the ball less. But when you say you're going to protect a player from himself, how do you do that? It's not giving him as many touches, maybe not banging him near the goal line in the short yardage areas as much. Is this a concerning comment from Kyle Shanahan, or is it June 3rd? It's a tossed off thing. Yeah, I don't want him to get hurt. And then like once the game starts, like, who cares? We got to give him the ball as much as
35
possible.
touches.
Yeah, this is how I make my money. Concerned or not, for a guy where injuries did rear their ugly head again last year, and he's currently the RB5 in summer fantasy drafts.
I don't like the combination of those two quotes. I've run it through my algorithm in my head, and
your Denny AI.
I do. You can subscribe for $12.99 a month.
Wow.
Now, don't do it. And so saying he's as healthy as he can be, like,
it can be. I actually would normally seize on that, and I didn't.
What I mean, like, we're gonna parse this, okay? Because that's what we do. And basically, he's saying like he can't get any healthier, but he didn't say he's at full health, okay? And I think that's very intentional.
Yeah, you might actually be right there.
And so saying
like, missed that. Yeah,
saying like he's at 80%. 80% is his max right now. And we need to stop him from hurting himself. I'm not saying that, like fade CMC at any cost.
Yeah, but do that. Yeah.
But definitely do that. No, it's I think that you need to be careful. I could see them like trying to get him in space, that sort of thing. But you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if like you're seeing other running backs for the Niners plunging into the end zone. I
feel like it's an indication for the first time ever he's going to at least attempt to have other running backs involved, and maybe that won't work, and he will just fall back into his old CMC habits. But Kyle Shanahan's been pretty much just like the Panthers, like where Christian McCaffrey's healthy. It's not like he gets no change of pace work behind him, but it's very limited relative to the other backs in the NFL. Or I think he might at least try that this year is kind of what these quotes indicate to me. I mean, CMC RB5 ahead of RB6 is Derrick Henry. I mean, that seems nuts to me. Like totally, like honestly, like really, what is the argument for taking CMC over Derrick Henry, the guy who literally never gets hurt? Like I know he's old, but CMC is also old. I know he could get hurt. He doesn't. CMC does.
Right.
I see zero argument to take Christian McCaffrey ahead of Derrick Henry.
So just for context, I know that McCaffrey didn't play much last year, only had 15 catches on 19 targets, but he was targeted on 22% of his pass routes. That's a pretty strong rate for a running back.
Targets for the taking also.
And so I think that even if we see a drop off in yards after contact, that sort of thing, which you typically do see. I mean, he's very old for a running back. Even if we see that, he could save his bacon, as the Zoomers say, with a bunch of cheap PPR production in a Niners offense that checks down quite a bit.
CMC quickly or Devin Achane?
Oh, man, you made me choose. God. Achane.
CMC or Jonathan Taylor?
Well, I would say CMC, but I know you're a Taylor guy, so I'm afraid of your wrath.
I'm not necessarily a Taylor guy.
You're a Taylor guy.
I'm a Taylor guy there for sure. CMC or Bucky Irving?
Oh, Irving, yeah.
Easily. Like CMC's ADP like makes no sense to me. Like it's drafting the glory years instead of the present. And he could still, I think he's going to be a useful fan. Clearly, if he stays healthy, there's pretty much no way he finishes outside the top 10.
Right.
But he's basically being drafted as if he still has RB1 overall upside. Mm-hmm. I do not agree that he has RB1 overall upside anymore.
Yeah, that quote, I mean, look, for the fantasy nerds out there, you gotta look at these quotes carefully. And when a coach says he's as healthy as he can be, we gotta take notice.
You do have to take notice. We have to take a short break. We'll be right back after this. Since there isn't an off season in the NFL, stay dialed in with us on the NBC Sports Now channel. Join Dan Patrick, Mike Florio, Chris Sims, Matthew Berry, and us from the Rotoworld Football Show for more insight on the biggest news and stories around the league. For more details, visit NBCSports.com/now. Denny, it's June 3rd, and apparently still allergy season in St. Louis.
It's never not, right?
Never ever not draining. No, that St. Louis weather, it's just, and like, yeah, the environment, everyone, and people in Missouri and St. Louis love to, it's so green. We have such a green state. Like, yeah, tell that to my throat. That never ever stops draining. So it is beautiful. We love that. But the pollen count here, the pollen, I know you have some of this in Maryland. The pollen count here is you can run your finger on your car hood.
Yeah.
And it comes off.
Right. It's on your clothes when you come inside.
It is. It's very disgusting.
By the way, Pat, whatever you do, don't ever take medicine for this.
I take daily medicine.
You do? Okay.
Yes,
well, now
I
I feel
do.
bad.
So if I didn't take medicine, I would truly not be able to function.
Yeah.
Well, and two, I had horrible allergies growing up, and apparently no one realized this.
Oh, man.
It's like I was just always sneezing, and my nose was always running, and then just a simple Flonase changed my life.
I heard that if you use Flonase and you can taste it in the back of your throat, that you've messed up, that it doesn't work that way.
Interesting.
Yeah. You got to hold your head a certain way. Look it up.
I can taste it occasionally. Denny, no Jonnu Smith trade after all. First off, what did we learn here? He was available, then he wasn't. Like, no one really knew he was available. Then it just apparently he wasn't. And
right.
Something was going on. He was made available. I guess they got a call from the Steelers. They considered it. So it seems like he's not going to be traded. He says he wants to be in Miami. Do we want him to be in Miami? What the answer is, of course, yes. Like, where else is he ever going to get this kind of usage?
Yeah. So we have to remember that Jonnu Smith last year was basically not used at all as a pass catcher for the first month of the regular season, right? So you have to take that into account. But still at the end of 2024, Jonnu Smith ranked 4th among all tight ends in both targets and receptions. He was 9th in yards after the catch per reception. He was targeted on a pretty high rate of his routes. I think he's locked in as long as he stays in Miami. He's locked in as a top 10 guy. In Pittsburgh, I think we would have forgotten his name.
I'm not so sure about that. No, it's tough to say because Arthur Smith, say what you will, did begin the Jonnu Assance. Like, that actually did begin under Arthur Smith, not Mike McDaniel.
Did Arthur Smith coach him in Tennessee? I think
no, in Atlanta.
No, but also in Tennessee.
Oh, probably.
Yeah,
probably. You're probably right.
I think he's obsessed. Yeah.
His career appeared over in New England. Then it was revived by Arthur Smith. Have to hand it to him. Then revived even more by Mike McDaniel. I will say, not great. Any trade rumor surfaced at all. I mean, you can question the validity of it, like if it was ever actually serious. But Adam Schefter is not usually doing something flimsy. So not great there that he's at least somewhat viewed as expendable. Not great either that he became a core part of the offense, but that was like an on-the-fly adjustment. It kind of just felt like survival mode for the Dolphins. Like, we need easy targets. Where it seems like in their ideal world, Jonnu would not be the clear-cut number 3 target or number 4 target if you want to include Devin Achane, where they might be thinking better of that approach this year. In a vacuum, like, everything's contextual. Like, tight end is a bad position. In a vacuum, tight end 7 does feel pretty rich for me for Jonnu. Like, that kind of feels like, that was great. What a special memory that was. The Jonnu Smith did that for me. But, I'm not going to try that again because I don't think that's going to happen again.
What a special memory. That's pretty funny. I mean, you're drafting him. Basically, I think his max upside is like tight end 5 overall. So taking him at 7, you don't have much room to grow from there. I will say, just real quick, like, I know you hate this guy, but I'm going to say it.
I know who you're going to say.
Yeah, I'm taking Evan Ingram over him.
Oh, no, I thought you were saying Mark Andrews. I like Evan Ingram.
What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Every time I talk, you cut my mic every time I even mention Ingram.
No, you kept wanting to talk about like the Joker thing.
Oh, right. By the way, Colston Loveland, what? At tight end 10? Get all the way out.
Yeah, yikes. Mega yikes.
What?
Tyler Warren, tight end 11, feels like a mega yikes to me, too, to be honest.
Above Njoku? Guys, this is disrespectful.
I will say that if you roll the tapes from June 3rd, 2024, but Brock Bowers, tight end 9. Like, stop. Like, just stop.
I don't want to talk about it.
Just stop. Guy will never stay healthy.
Yeah, right. He's a receiver.
Guys,
no one even knows.
Doesn't have a position. That's bad.
And he's instantly the best tight end ever played.
And Pat Crane's adding a wing to his arm.
Crane tried to tell it. I mean, he actually was sending like red alerts.
Crane was trying to have as much as you can via text messaging.
He was like, listen,
an intervention with us.
He was like, you guys, your friendship means a lot to me. And I want to be here for you in your time of need. I'm worried about you, that you've gone in on the take that Brock Bowers is bad.
That was rough. That was tough.
If only we would have listened.
It's good to have friends like that.
It is.
Good to have a position like tight end. I just besmirched it, but we're talking about 2 more tight ends. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh said, quote unquote, I want to see Isaiah Likely be an all-pro this season.
All right.
A lot of different ways you can read into that, but you only make that kind of comment if you do have genuine belief in the player. I'm sure John Harbaugh, you can truth serumed him. He's not expecting Isaiah Likely to be an all-pro this year, but he clearly thinks he's super talented. I mean, anytime Isaiah Likely is featured in the offense, he produces. Anytime Mark Andrews was featured in the offense last year, he ended the season. I thought you might push back on that as too harsh.
Well, I mean, no, you're right, though. I mean, it was truly the most devastating tight end performance I've ever seen.
Just say, listen, the cliche is normally true. Like, after a team loses a big game, like a coach or the teammate say, it wasn't just one play.
No, it was just one play.
It was just one play. It was just one play.
It was actually 2 plays, and they were both to him.
Yeah, it was.
He dropped one over the middle, and then he dropped. Oh God! Then he dropped the 2-pointer.
It was Mark. It was kind of your fault. But you only say this about a player if you have. Are we finally getting the Isaiah Likely breakout? Denny? The full breakout. We keep getting glimpses of it. Tight end is a position where this kind of thing happens, where a player percolates for a few years and then seemingly kind of out of nowhere explodes. It's a tough position to learn. Teams always are playing multiple tight ends. Breakouts are delayed for various reasons.
Right.
Are we actually getting an Isaiah Likely, like full-blown breakout in 2025?
I think that would actually require Mark Andrews to miss some time. I mean, if we want to be like very honest about this, I will say this though, looking at the ADPs, okay, and then again, it's June, things will change. But right now, there are 17 tight ends going ahead of Isaiah Likely. So you look at the range he's going in, right? He's going as tight end 18 around
Kyle Pitts.
Brenton Strange. Kyle Pitts, come on.
Kyle Pitts might not be in the league this year.
Zach Ertz, Freiermuth, Hunter Henry, my guy, Kate Otten. Okay, so out of those guys I just mentioned, who has the upside of Likely? The answer is no one.
No one.
The answer is no one. And here's why. Likely, I mean, look, this is not great, but here's what I have. Top 15 yards per route run among tight ends last year. Top 5 in yards after the catch per reception. Only George Kittle had a higher average depth of target from the slot than Likely. So he really is like a big play merchant, right? If he can get somehow, some way, if Likely can get more of the easy button stuff along with those explosive plays, which not every tight end gets, right? Like Jonnu Smith, nothing explosive, right? He's just getting the checkdowns. If you could combine those two, I think that you could have a breakout season, maybe with some like weird touchdown production. Okay. But really, I mean, just Mark Andrews is such a hurdle for Likely right now.
I don't know. Is he really that big? Like Mark Andrews, like the decline has been slow, but it's been very consistent. Like I don't even really think it's that outlandish to say Isaiah Likely. Like what % chance did you put Isaiah Likely of scoring more fantasy points than Mark Andrews?
What percent? 20%? Yeah, something like that. I mean, I'm trying to be reasonable. I mean, if someone disagrees, let us know. But I do think that the ADP is super reasonable at tight end 18, especially if you're doing best ball drafts and you want to stack some Ravens. Then he's a slam dunk. Like if you get Lamar early, then you can just get Flowers, maybe Bateman, and then Likely and be done with it.
Yeah. So the Ravens are always an interesting team. Always a difficult yet intriguing team to stack too. Isaiah Likely, he's the kind of guy I wouldn't normally draft. Like whatever, he doesn't have a set role. He might be the kind of this feels like a very, very good flyer to be taking.
Yeah, I agree.
Like certain coach quote, like not all coach quotes are created equal. Like this is kind of an insane coach quote, I would say.
They really like him.
Yeah, they really do. And like coaches just don't normally put that kind of pressure on players. Like even when they're praising them, it's like, we love him, he's great. They don't normally say things like, we think he could be MVP. We think he could be all pro. So it's a very, very, very eye-opening coach quote.
Yeah, I agree.
Not really all that eye-opening when Patrick Mahomes says Travis Kelce is good, but Travis Kelce apparently feeling better than he did last year, which, that's good because he definitely needs to be feeling better than that.
Yeah.
Mahomes saying he's looking great. What did he even say? Like, oh yeah, he's trying hard. Because I think sometimes we say he's not trying hard anymore.
Well, he didn't look like he was trying very much in the Super Bowl. I would say that.
I just think because I don't think he really can anymore. But yeah, he feels better than last year. Denny's currently the tight end 6. He's falling, but he's still not falling maybe as far as he could or should. Does tight end 6 sound right for you for Travis Kelce? Too high, too low, just right?
I think it's just right. And, we're talking about the guy last year who did the ultimate like slink around the field, like not do much sort of thing, and ended up 3rd in both tight end receptions and tight end targets. You could do worse than that. I wrote a piece actually a couple months ago. You find it on Rotoworld about how much he has dropped off and all the peripheral stats. I'm not going to go through all of that right now. I will say this though. The return of Rashee Rice is a potential massive problem for Travis Kelce. So Rice went down in week 4 last year with that knee injury that ended his season. Through the season's first 3 games, Rashee Rice dominated in the Chiefs offense with a 35% target share to Kelce's 14% share. Rice saw 32% of Kansas City's air yards over that stretch, while Kelce was a distant 3rd behind Rice and Xavier Worthy. This all boils down to Kelce was, I think, on his way to like a borderline top 10 fantasy season with Rashee Rice in the fold. If Rice is healthy, which is a big if Rice is healthy for week 1, then I think tight end 6 will prove to be too rich for Kelce.
And I feel like the Chiefs' incentives do not align with fantasy players' incentives. I think the Chiefs should make Travis Kelce a role player at this point, sure. And ration his snaps far more than they actually do, and make him more like a critical 3rd downs and red zone guy. Where after Rashee Rice got injured last year, he had to basically be the primary chain mover still, which a role few have been better at over the past 20 years, but he's just miscast for that at this point. And that's what we've gotten used to in fantasy, but it doesn't make the most sense for the Chiefs. Or I think in the Chiefs' perfect world, he would be more of a role player, and role players, even a tight end, very, very difficult to be the tight end 6.
You won't be shocked to know this probably, but Travis Kelce dead last in ESPN's open score last year.
That actually is a bit shocking. Even in his diminished state, he's got so much wherewithal and know-how.
Yeah. He does have great. So this is the thing with Mahomes and Kelce. They don't blow you out of the water with their athleticism at this point in their careers. Kelce once was freakishly athletic, but just their awareness and that sixth sense, and maybe that can't cut it anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Travis Kelce. Things of that nature. We'll see how Travis Kelce or Jonnu Smith, by the way. Tight end 6, Kelce, Jonnu Smith, tight end 7. Mark Andrews, tight end 8. Everyone's stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I'd actually lean Jonnu.
I questioned the Jonnu Assange, but of those 3, I'm like, oh yeah, Jonnu 9 to 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I will say in some leagues you will see Kelce fall pretty long way. At some point, everybody becomes a value. Just keep that in mind.
I would take Evan Ingram over each of Mark Andrews and Travis Kelce, and maybe Jonnu. Evan Ingram or Jonnu Smith, Denny?
Ingram, because I trust Bo Nix to do nothing else but throw to Ingram.
That's true. Denny, you've talked a lot. We talked kind of a lot about Jack Besh for some reason. We haven't talked a lot about Jacoby Myers. We haven't talked much about Brock Bowers. He's someone we already just accept his greatness. But new Raiders offensive coordinator Chip Kelly is reportedly moving Raiders wide receivers around this spring.
Yeah.
Not something we say very often, but is it Jacoby Myers season?
I've been saying this.
You kind of have been. I think we did shout you down.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. You literally told me to leave. I see the Raiders every year. There's 1 or 2 passing offenses that are significantly better than anticipated. Right. I think the Raiders are a good candidate to be that team this year because you have spreadsheet warrior Geno Smith, analytics favorite Geno Smith under center. You have Chip Kelly, who ran the most efficient offense in the nation at Ohio State. And you have Bowers and Myers. So a defense can't focus on Myers, right? They have to focus on, first of all, Ashton Genty and then Brock Bowers, right? In some order. And I don't know who's 1 and who's 2, but they have to focus on those guys. that leaves Myers to kind of do his own thing. I don't think Myers has tons of upside. I think he's a really good pick where he's going, and an offense that I'm kind of in on as far as like ADP goes.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers is never one associated with upside, but we probably don't talk enough about his floor. He's wide receiver 40. I don't know. It's hard to say. Like Jacoby Myers doesn't have top 24 upside. So it's kind of like what's really the difference after wide receiver 25 between 25 and 40. Those people all kind of jumble together. 40 does seem low to me.
40 is low. I mean, I would say I'd be really surprised if he's not top 30. And I think with some kind of outlier touchdown production, it could be top 24.
Really surprised if not top 30. It seems a bit strong to me.
Really? Okay. Well, he's going around Jerry Jeudy, your guy. I know you take Jeudy there, right?
I do.
Ricky Pearsall, it's totally over for him.
This might not ever even play again.
No, it's Myers. Matthew Golden, I'm taking Myers over Golden.
I will say Myers probably over Jeudy. Actually, Jeudy over Myers for sure.
Yeah.
Myers over Deebo Samuel. Myers over Chris Olave. Probably over Juwan Jennings. Probably over Chris Godwin. Gets a little more dicey. Rome Odunze, Jordan Addison. Jacoby Myers or Calvin Ridley, Denny?
That I was actually just looking at that. I really wish I keep thinking Ridley's going to come down, but people seem to be in on
Ridley. Might be the most like. What more do you people need to see to not draft Calvin Ridley?
This guy, honestly, he's the Trevor Lawrence of wide receivers. He had one good year.
Like, what more do we need to see to know Calvin
and people
Ridley?
Are like, hey, Ridley could be back to 2019 form. You never know.
Like the ADP does not matter. The year does not matter.
No.
The team does not matter. The quarterback does not. He will never be a good pick. Ever.
Like, I go Myers.
Like he makes like Amari Cooper look like good. He makes like Brandon Cooks like look like a superstar. Like it's never going to happen for Calvin Ridley again.
Led the league in air yards. It's funny you don't say that.
It's funny that I don't say that he actually has a good quarterback now, but
he does.
First good quarterback since Matt Ryan. First good Rotoworld football show since the last one.
Mm-hmm.
We're out of time now. We're going to have another one on Thursday when our friend Kyle Dvorak joins us. God willing, we're going to talk about the NFL general managers. God willing, meaning I've got the article posted and it's live for everyone to read. No, we're going to talk about it even if it's not posted yet, but it will be posted. So for Denny, I am Patrick. Thank you for listening. We'll be back on Thursday with our friend Kyle.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Rotoworld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.